Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Welcome back for another video. It's day 12 of the Summer Scrappin Series. Thank you for joining me. Today, my guest is another longtime scrappy friend whom I'm sure you probably know because everybody knows her, Missy Whidden. Missy does absolutely incredible scrapbook pages, so you must go check out her channel. And I just love to listen to her and watch her do her thing. So today I am going to be working with some cut files and some print and cut, and actually all the things I'm using today are from The Cut Shop, which is an Etsy store by Ashley Horton, who was my guest yesterday. And if I had planned this better, I would have done this page on the day that she was my guest, but I didn't plan it very well. So you can go to yesterday's video and check out the link. Actually, I put the link to her store in the description for today's video. So this is two different cut files. One is called Summer Circles, and the other one is called I don't remember. It's like some swirly circle things. I can't remember what they're called. Around and Around. That's what it's called. And I'm just going to cut these circles in different sizes. I have also used her print and cut printable, which are all these die cuts you can see to the right, the Summer Sun and Fun, the flamingo, the leaves, and that is free on her Cut Shop Facebook page. So I will try to put the link for that below as well too. So I printed those on my regular printer, and then I cut them out. Did the registration marks and then cut them out on my Cameo, and it worked great. So now I'm going to go through my stash and find some papers that kind of match the colors of these printables. So I guess the design inspiration came from this printable sheet, and I have to be honest with you, this was my third set because I printed and tried to cut. The first one, I had the settings wrong on my registration line, so it didn't cut right. The second one, same thing. I had adjusted the cut file to fit in the registration marks better because it's a long story. But anyway, so I printed again, and then it started cutting wrong, so I messed that one up. And then the last one, third time was a charm. So I'm glad I got that to work. But now I have some extras that I'm going to just keep to cut out little bits from if I need it. So on my background, I decided I wanted to do something with the white background and use a stencil, which I haven't used in a while, and put something through the stencil that could act as a resist later once I put some ink over it. So I am using, this is a Shimmer's Pasties that came in an old Hip Kit Club kit, and it kind of has like a little bit of like a glittery shimmer to it. It's kind of like a rainbow glitter in there. I mean, you can't even see it in the video. It's actually very hard to see even close up, but it does have a little bit of shimmer. So I'm going to layer that on through the stencil with a spatula and let that dry. So while that's drying, I'm just taking another piece of white cardstock to kind of plan my design. So I'm just using this as a place to build, basically. So I'm taking these circles that I cut out, and you can see I picked some yellows and kind of teals, blues, and some oranges and navy, which were all the colors that were in the print and cut by Ashley, and I'm just going to start layering these circles. Another inspiration from this page came from a sticker sheet, which I'll come to later, and my son is obviously wearing sun goggles, or not sun goggles, what do they call them? Swim goggles in this video, and the goggles made me think of swimming and made me think of like bubbles while you're swimming. So I have some stickers that are little bubbles that I'll get to later. Anyway, that was another reason why I went kind of with the circle shapes for this design, because I was thinking of bubbles. So I have just scattered some of the circles kind of in a vertical line down the page. Here was the extra print and cut I had that was cut out wrong, and I'm cutting out by hand because it didn't cut right on my machine, one of the leaves, because I wanted a couple extra leaves. So I think there's only one leaf in the printable, so I guess it worked out well that I had done it 3 times, because now I have 3 leaves, and I like working in sets of 3. So I'll cut these other ones out. And this one I decided to fussy cut out by hand because I wanted to have the definition of the leaflets in the leaf, the little indentations, and not just a white border. So I'm pretty happy with that design. I considered bringing in some pink here, and I first went with this dark pink. And by the way, the 6x6 paper pads I'm using, one is from, I think, Jen Hadfield Everyday collection, and the other is from an Amy Tan collection. And they have these bright, bold colors. But I think the dark pink was a little too much for the photo, and I decided to go with a light pink. And again, I chose pink because of there was pink, well, pink in this flamingo. Okay, so this flamingo, I love the flamingo, and I put it here on the page. I like it there on the page. I wasn't totally sold on it and not sure if I was going to keep it there, but I felt if I put this flamingo here on the right, I need something in the bottom left that's pink too, and my photo's matted in pink, so I'll kind of get this flow of pink on the diagonal. So I leave that other cutout, that die cut circle there with the ampersand in it for now, just kind of as a placeholder for something that's pink. I don't actually like that circle there, but I definitely want something pink there. So I'll come back to that. And the flamingo, I just couldn't decide. So we'll come back to that. All right, so now my background has dried. I know you can kind of make out there the dimension of the pasties that has dried. And when I spritz this mist on, this is Vibes, I think, Shimmer's Vibes in Snow Wayman. You can see the blue, the little plus signs. And I decided, by the way, I didn't mention this, I decided to go with the plus signs because I wanted a geometric shape that wasn't circular, something that could contrast against all the circles that I was going to have in the background. So I just sprayed the mist on. I do go back with a paintbrush in some areas, and then I'm taking a wet paper towel and kind of wiping off the top of some of the plus signs. In retrospect, I really wish I went heavier with the mist and the ink. I mean, right now I thought it was a little bit too much, but most of this gets covered up. So I wish I went a little bit darker with this color. And then I just did some splatters. And I also used some Heidi Swapp Color Shine in teal. So I had built my page on the other piece of white cardstock, and now I'm just taking it off that cardstock and putting it back on this mixed media background now that it's finished drying. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else I have used. Right, see, there comes that flamingo again. This flamingo is going to be going on and off this page several times before the end of this video, and there's only about 4 minutes left, so it'll keep coming back on there. Okay, here's the bubble stickers I was talking about earlier that were kind of my inspiration too. I love these. These are super cute. This paper collection, I think it's a photo play paper collection from last year or the year before. It has super bright colors in it, so I'm kind of glad that these bubbles were toned down a little bit and just fit in with the circles. I don't really add too much more. Now that I think about it, I should have added a piece of flare. That would have been a good circular element to add. Maybe I will go back and do that. These anchor stickers I found at Hobby Lobby. It's the Hobby Lobby brand Paper Studio. They are super duper cute. They are like white, teal, navy, and red. And I put another little navy anchor there because that helped with the flow of navy across the page to kind of balance out where all the navy elements are. And going back to the pink, still don't like that. You know, I think if that circle with the ampersand in it was smaller, that I would have liked it better. There's our friend the flamingo again. I found another flamingo sticker that was facing the opposite direction. That was in the Amy Tan pack. That was cute too, but I decided against it. I didn't want too many flamingos. I mean, it's not a very tropical page, but I mean, I guess you would know by looking at the photos where we are, but anyway. So here is the other pink element I add. I found a clear, well, it's not really clear. It's a see-through pink heart sticker, and it's very close to the pink in the flamingo, the darker pink in the flamingo. So I'm going to put that over to the left there inside that circle. And I'm going to start gluing down some of these other circles on the page where they are. I'm going to map my photo, and I'm going to take my edge distressor and rough up the edges of the photo a little bit. And then I felt like the photo needed a little, I mean, it has the pink matte around it, but I felt like it needed another layer of softening around the edges. So one of my other favorite things to use around the edges of photos, and especially to soften them up, is mixed media sheets from ThermoWeb, which I believe I've used recently on another page too. And this is the lightweight sheets, and I just tear them. They're kind of like a fabric interfacing. I say that all the time. So it's not a paper. It's not a tissue paper. It's more like a fabric. And I will just tear a little frame for the photo. And again, that just helps kind of soften against, you know, bright colors of things around the edge. And I'm going to trim it up just a little bit here because it was overlapping some of the elements just a tad too much. So now I've got all of the circles that I want glued down to the background, and I'm going to start popping up some of the other elements with pop dots, with some foam squares. This title, Summer Sun and Fun, also came from the Print and Cut from the Cut Shop Facebook group too. And I'll tuck those leaves in there. Going to trim off the stems a little bit so they don't stick out too much. That flamingo still is not glued down. I'm still not completely sure that it's staying there. These cuts are super fun. I considered backing them with patterned paper just for some contrast, but I kind of like having them open, and I just felt like since some of the other circles were open, that leaving it open in the background without having a patterned paper back there or whatever, a cardstock, just kind of went with the airy feel of it all. So even if I don't put the flamingo on there, I like the pink heart, and I think the pink heart is going to stay. See, I told you. How many times is that now with the flamingo? 7 or 8? What am I doing now? I'm going to draw some journaling lines. I'm just about finished here. I really don't have too much more. I draw some journaling lines with my white pen. I journal with a navy blue pen. I add the date, and I do a little bit of stitching here and there over some of the circles. Now, here's the page without the flamingo. And here's the page with the flamingo. So I need your vote because it's not permanently glued down and I cannot decide. I want to know what you think, flamingo or not. So please share your thoughts. Okay, here's some other close-ups. You can see those awesome cut files and the great print and cut there. I think I'm erring to the side of with the flamingo, but it won't hurt my feelings if you don't agree with me. So I'd love to have your input. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have 2 more days this week. I will see you soon. Stay scrappy, friends.